live this morning on KFMK in Houston.
Over 8,000 people right here in my backyard. H-Town, baby. And so now it's time for us to accelerate and to put your dreams in motion. All that we're gonna do in 2020 starts right now. We're gonna put them in motion. 1, 2, 3.
We barely scratched the scratch of the surface. But there's so much more that we can do with IGO, and we're gonna do it.
U stands for something. Loyalty. Unity. And edification.
Yo, I accelerated. I'm going fast now. You know they don't want these. I feel like a cash cow. Stack it up. I put all my money in Teslas. They tryna catch up, but ain't fast enough. We don't win, it's unanimous. Alright, throw a boomerang and throw the plane. We're somewhere it never rains. Yeah, we
So therefore I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, one who even as the mayor of the 4th largest city in the United States, I'm inspired by what you do. Therefore I proclaim this day, February 23rd, 2020, as Earlene and Holton Bugs Day.
Yo, foot on the gas and I'm going fast. I accelerated.
All right, everybody, this is Samuel Bean. I'm a Diamond Ambassador for iBoomerang International. Glad to have you guys here with us today for this edition of It Takes Two. And I mean, right now, the company that you're going to be hearing from today, ladies and gentlemen, is an amazing company. It's doing some great things globally, impacting people's lives. Not just from a wealth perspective, but from a philosophy and a principle perspective where people can learn how to live a better life and how to be in control of their life. So again, right now, before we get into the actual presentation, I definitely want to share some with you guys. There are a lot of things going on around the world today. A lot of people are being affected by, let's just say the virus that's going on out there. But a lot of people are being affected financially as well. And, there are a lot of people who are in a position, to make some decisions that can put themselves in a position where they never have to go to work again as long as they live. They just have to have the courage to do so. Okay. And I'm talking to the people who are amongst those who are about to lose, what they project to be 3 million jobs before summer, 4.6 million jobs before the end of the year. I'm talking to the people who have lost some income, or lost some hours. I'm talking to some people right now who don't want to ever have this happen to them again and be caught, as they say, with your pants down, if you will. It's a hard time. And one thing you can't have right now is fear mentality. And I say that from experience, not from a theory perspective. I'm talking from me, myself, losing 3 companies back in 2008. And this is during the actual recession. And my wife and I lost 3 companies. We were going into foreclosure, repossession, and bankruptcy ourselves. And we found ourselves basically with $400 left in the bank. And the owner of this company, along with his partner, who's the GMA, and I'll introduce you to those guys in a little bit. Instead of them feeling sorry for us and said, "Hey, look, we understand, shut everything down, go ahead, go back to work." They say, "Hey, look, you need to go ahead and prepare yourself and build something right now while you have an opportunity, so you'll never have to worry about money again as long as you live." And they gave me a chance to go out there and dig myself out of the hole that I got myself into, and gave me an opportunity to do something courageous. And today, that's what I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to do, because with their guidance, with their leadership, with their system, my wife and I were able to not only get out of foreclosure, bankruptcy, and repossession, but we went on to make multiple millions of dollars in that company. And we took that company to $3 billion in sales in a 10-year span. And keep in mind, not only were we going through a recession, ladies and gentlemen, we got hit with Hurricane Ike at the same time. So we had multiple challenges. And so if there's anybody out there in this world today that knows what most of you are going through, or the people who you know who are experiencing these hard times are going through, it's us. And so let me jump right into this actual conversation with you guys. I'm gonna pull up some slides for you so you can kind of get a picture, for what this is and who we are. And again, if you have anybody who you like to share this information with, go ahead and tag them, because again, you may be helping somebody impact, a change in their life and putting them into a situation where, they can supplement their income or build a bridge, if you will, that would keep them from never having to go back over to the employee side. So the company that we're talking about today is iBoomerang International, and it's a 1-year-old company. And we've been around, we did a pre-launch in March last year, and we actually launched this company in September on the 1st of last year, a full-fledged launch. And I can just tell you right now, we've had our ups and downs, but I can tell you right now, we've had more ups and downs, and people are extremely excited that they made the decision to become a part of our organization as a company, especially during these times right now. And since we're talking about money and we're talking about, times, what I want to do is I want to give you guys a disclaimer, okay? iBoomerang as a company cannot make any guarantees about any ability to make money because we don't know what you're going to do. We don't know if you're going to follow the system. We don't know if you're going to get any results. But what I do know is this: you're going to get paid in direct proportion to what you earn, okay? And the cool part about it is there's no limit or no cap on how much you earn, okay? And so when you look at this industry of network marketing and the stigma that hangs around it, what I'd like to share with you guys is this. First and foremost, network marketing is responsible for more new money millionaires than any other platform that's out there, one. Two, we've actually made a decision to change the actual industry of network marketing ourselves with our company. And what you'll find that by the time I finish this conversation and this presentation, you'll have to remind yourself one thing, that this is not a 10-year-old company. Again, it's just 1 year old. We're just advanced. And two, this doesn't look or feel like network marketing, okay? And so the things that we're going to start our change by is making sure, first of all, we have first-class customer consumer experience. We call it customer amazement. And, when you look at our TSAs, our travel savers ambassadors, our partners, these individuals, we're going to take care of them too, because, we've put them in a position where they have a rejection-proof product. They have a system that's really dynamic, and we're going to help them with what we call success without selling. And basically just giving somebody an offer that they can't refuse, okay? And, the evolution of it, it's kind of like taking the network marketing industry from the taxi cab era, and where customers pay more and only the strong distributors and those companies won, into the modern day era where, you make money when customers save money and technology helps ambassadors. See, things have evolved. And, if you're still, trying to make money the same way that, your grandparents made money, back in the day, 60 years ago, then right now you'll find that the industry's probably passed you by. The industry that you're participating in has probably passed you by as well. And so, I have a saying that I like to say that everything's got to change. Evolution is inevitable. And if you fail to change, at some point in time, you may find yourself living off of it. Okay? It's, the person at the helm of the company, again, he was the reason, and I saved this for this moment, he was the reason why we were able to beat foreclosure, repossession, and bankruptcy. He was the reason why we were able to make multiple 7 figures in this company, or in the last company. And it was his genius, it was his confidence, but it was also his experience. Okay? And not only did he help us in that situation, but the company that we were in, that company, ladies and gentlemen, was launching in the midst of a recession in September 2008. And we did the unthinkable as a company, but it was because of his guidance, his leadership, and his experience that he was able to take that company to over $3 billion in sales from initially a distributorship position, and then before moving up, taking on a role in corporate, okay? And so he's got a lot of years in experience. As you can see, he's been down in the fire. He's been down in the trenches, where he made no money and it was all a learning experience, all the way up to March 2019 when he opened up this company. And so the thing I want to share with you guys is this: he has a resume, and that resume includes, in that last company alone, he helped over 45 people become a millionaire in that company. And I'm not talking about over the tenure of their actual career in that company. I'm talking about 45 specific people who earned $1 million on a calendar basis, annual basis. Okay, and so that's a difference. So how we mark, our levels of accomplishment is a little bit different than everybody else. And what you'll find is that when people look at us on the outside, to the inside, everything that we do and everything that we've done has been what you would call extraordinary to them. But for us, it's ordinary because we expect these results because we have that type of leadership. And speaking of leadership, when you look at this panel of people that I have before you here, it starts with, Mr. Bugs, the CEO of this company. And so when you look at the gentlemen that are coming behind him, Terrence Gray, VP Operations, and Mark Kitcart, VP of Marketing, these are not just guys who made millions of dollars in the corporate sector. These are guys that he also trained and took them to the highest levels in the companies that we were in when we were building early on in our early days. Okay, so now he has people from the field who have field experience, right? Who knows what the field needs and what the field is going through, who can empathize with the field. And he also put people in a position that also have that corporate background too, so they can hold multiple hats, and they do. So we're partnering with the right people. Okay, so how will we bring this vision of the world, our vision to the world? And you see, it all starts with the PRIB, okay? Perpetual Residual Income Builder. So when you look at what that really means is basically you have the opportunity to do something one time, right, and get paid on it forever. And when you do it, you're going to get help. Okay, the PRIB is what we call our Siri or our Alexa. The PRIB is built on data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and you got the right people who are putting it all together. And so when you look at the support that it brings, it's going to help you when it comes to your customers. It's going to help you with the selling. It's going to help you with the follow-ups. It's going to help you with the upselling. And a lot of your people are going to know what's coming even before some of the field does. Okay? It's your job to get the customers, something that you're great at. But it's our job as a company to make sure that those customers are retained and they're taken care of, they're nurtured, and they're groomed as customers. Okay? Now, when it comes to your team, obviously, you also need help in teaming because one thing that for certain is, this is a learning while you're earning environment. And the one thing that we don't want you to do is try to wear a hat that doesn't fit you. Okay. And so if you're brand new coming out of the let's just say the workforce or even traditional businesses, and you've never run an organization in network marketing and never created an asset that produces leaders and produces big income, well, we want you to go ahead and worry about, and we'll focus on, focus on, you actually exposing the business and bringing on partners. And the PRIB is going to help your team. It's going to help your team by welcoming them, making sure they feel welcome. It's going to give them orientation trainings. It's going to give them, the opportunity to upgrade. It's going to let them know about all the big events that we have and that we're having. And then again, when it talks about your attrition rate, your percentages are going to be immaculate because now you have technology on your side. It's going to do the job that you should be required to do. Okay. So when you look at the PRIB and the very first company that's in the PRIB, the front door to the PRIB is travel, and iGo is a company. And when you look at why we chose travel, because we are a technology and innovation company, we're not a travel company. We just use travel to get your attention, right? But using this company was an ingenious idea, and I can tell you right now the results that we've gotten just to get customers right now. It's through the roof. Again, 500,000 customers in 12 months. Our goal was to get 1 million. We had a March to 1 Million campaign. We came up a little short, but I can tell you that a lot of other companies out there globally who wish that they had our shortcoming, right? So when you look at, why travel, it's because you don't have to worry about competition. You don't have to worry about having a scarcity mentality. It's enough money for us all to eat. It's an $8 trillion industry, right? And so when you look at these regions around the world, off to the left, you have Asia. It's a $6 billion a day producing region. Europe, $4.8 billion a day. United States, $2.8 billion a day. Latin America, $953 million a day. in Africa, $487 million a day. And, walking away from my last company that we built for over a decade, that we took to a $3 billion status, out of a recession. I walked away from $500,000 a year, over $40,000 a month in residual recurring income. And people ask me, why would I do that? Well, I did that because if somebody is producing, $6 billion a day in just one region, that means that I can go from $40,000 a month to $40,000 a day. Okay. And so look at, who's leading the way though. Look at the people who have really showed us how, powerful this industry can be. Bookings Holding and Expedia Group. These two guys have, when I say pull the wool over people's eyes, they've created a duopoly, two holdings and two entities that have actually opened up over 45 companies that you thought were competing companies. When you look at Travelocity, you look at Orbitz, look at Expedia, Trivago, and all the rest of these other companies, you thought that they were all competing companies because of one thing. They put a click to compare button on there. And when you click to compare, like I did, right, you thought that you were getting the best rate. Well, what they did was, since they controlled all of the gaps, they controlled how much money and how much, how much the price point could be lowered or raised. They lowered it a little bit less than what, the vendors' prices were, right? So you wouldn't go directly to the Hilton or directly to, Enterprise, Hertz. You wouldn't go directly to Carnival. What they did was they said, we're going to drop it a little bit lower, right? And we're going to give you guys a little bit, of a discount, and we're going to put all of our price points in the same price point area. We're going to create parity, and we'll let you save $5 to $7 or $10 to $20 on a booking. Well, when you're saving that $10 to $20, they may be earning $200 to $300 on that booking. Okay, because when you look at a hotel room, let me explain something to you. They don't want to have dead inventory. Every time a day passes when a room is not slept in, ladies and gentlemen, if it's not booked, guess what? They don't make any income on it. So they outsource all that inventory to third-party people, and they say, hey, look, use your marketing prowess to direct people back to our booking engines, and we will give you the difference. And I can just tell you right now, let me tell you what the difference, an idea makes. These guys over the last, well, let's say in 2018 alone, between all of their 45 companies, their marketing companies, by the way, that are not travel companies, they generated over $190 billion in revenue and sales. I mean, in income, not revenue and sales. That's actual income for them. So again, price parity, they marked it up. And what we're doing is going to do something totally different. We're taking our company, IGO, and with the same discounts that we got from them, from the same vendors, we're giving more of our actual discounts to our customers. And we're also giving a lot of it to our business partners, our TSAs. And so here's some of the examples that we are offering versus the competition. So when you look at New York City, 4.5-star hotel on Expedia, $339 a night for this unit. And it's the same unit, same nights, right? Same stay, $178 a night on our IGO platform, $161 in savings. So now a person who's looking to shop and they want the best deal, this is where they're going to come to get it. Because, when you call your travel agent and ask them to give you the hookup, or when you go online and you do your own research, you won't find $161 savings anywhere, right? When you go to Paris, France, 4.5-star hotel here, Travelocity had it for $440 a night. Our IGO platform had it for $130 a night. Okay, same nights, same hotel, same room, $310 in savings. See, at some point in time, the company had, their business model, and IGO means I go for less, for them, and that was the motto. That's what it is. For me, IGO means I got over, because every time I book, I don't pay, full price. I don't even pay anywhere close to, what these other third-party sites are actually are offering. My wife and I, we've saved so much money over our first year. It's ridiculous. I've saved over almost $10,000 in our first 12 months on travel I was going to do anyway. My wife saved over $3,000. What that is this, ladies and gentlemen, that's income that came back into our household. Okay, anything that was scheduled to go out that we can retain, that's income. Look over here at the rentalcars.com. Okay, when you look at rentalcars.com, what you'll see is they have a booking, and that booking, let me see if I can move this, is $392 total. And that same booking on our iGo platform is $221, and it's $171 in savings. Okay? And so please, pay attention to what's going on. A lot of people right now are not traveling right now, but what they're doing is they're booking travel. So when this thing is over with, because this too shall pass, when this thing is over with, they will already have all of their great discounts and drastically discounted trips, from rental cars to vacations and everything else, already booked. See, this is the thing I want you guys to understand about the travel industry. It doesn't matter if we go into a recession, a depression, if this pandemic happens for a while. The one thing you got to understand, if you look back in history, that the travel industry has always been the very first industry, not just to bounce back, but to bounce back the biggest. Okay, because when people are cooped up in the house and they're restricted and they can't go anywhere, and all they can think about is where they want to go when it's over with, the moment they say, hey, you got the green light to travel to the country and travel to blue skies, that's the first thing they're going to do. Okay, because that's all they're thinking about. So again, if we were a travel company, we wouldn't be worried. Okay, but again, we're a technology and innovation company that started with travel. So look on the bottom here. You have the iGo, confirmations, or what we call receipts. It doesn't matter. But here you see, here in full detail, that these people are saving, and they're really traveling for cheap. His first reservation with Ruben, $450 is what he invested in that trip. He saved $1,341. And if you look at the rewards credits, I want to talk about that for just a second here. First and foremost, we're the company that pays cash back, on people saving. Everybody else gives points, and you can't take your points, to your bank account. You can't pay your mortgage with points. So a lot of the other travel companies out there, the other travel companies that are out there who are paying points, they're not in the place that we're in. They're not in the condition that we're in. Okay. The other thing is this: our customers can now recruit customers, and our customers can actually earn points for when those customers are travel as well. Now, watch this. When the customers that they recruit come on and travel, those customers can't earn money, but we can. Okay. And so again, as our business partners are finding out right now, this is the very, very best time to be a part of this company. Reservation, $624 is what they paid. 695 points is what they earned, and they also say was at $315 down there. Then you look at the third one, Mr. Holzenbugs himself, the CEO of the company. He's not just the owner; he's also a client, right? He does a lot of traveling himself, and his trip was $1,348. His reward points and credits were $1,687. His savings was $1,589. Now, one last thing about the reward points is that you can actually double dip. Okay. When I say double dip, you're going to get your points from your vendors, again, the Marriotts of the world, the Hertz and Enterprises of the world, you'll get your points from them, but you can also use the points that you're going to get from us from that same booking for anything. Okay. Including retail purchases on some level. Okay. So here you have a 5-star lifestyle at 3-star prices. And this slide is going to, be a full, let's say a full gambit of everything that we're going to offer you in what we call our first class membership. Our first class membership, again, with membership comes privileges. Here are all of the privileges that come with that. You get the book with hotels, rental cars, cruises, and keep in mind that our cruises right now, ladies and gentlemen, people who are booking cruise packages, they're also getting a 7-day, 6-night vacation stay in addition to for no extra cost. So you're going to save a lot of money on cruises, but you're also going to get a free trip to go with it. So we want to make sure that when you come out of this thing, you have places to go and people to see. Now, flights, I want to give you that actual disclaimer. When it comes to flights, the airline industry doesn't give anybody, any discounts, so they don't pay anybody commissions. Okay, it's just tight like that. But our flights, are very comparable to those that are out there, and you can find that a lot of times we will have better prices than the people who are out there. So I love that. And so it's kind of like the radio, use it when you want to and turn it off when you don't, right? If it makes sense for you to shop and take a flight through us, take it. If it doesn't, don't. Okay. Homes, we have $1 million homes. You'll see a lot of those on Airbnb, and you'll also see how we dominate the price point there. On our week stays, basically you book something for a week, ladies and gentlemen, and it's very, very inexpensive. And that's when they take the inventory that's been sitting for a while, or they want to liquidate right away, and they give a drastically low price. And you'll have people who are going places like Hawaii or Mexico or Cancun or wherever, and they only have 3 or 4 days, but they'll book it for a week because it's just that much cheaper. See, I've seen weeks in Hawaii for like $57 a night. I've seen weeks in Costa Rica for like $17 a night. Mexico, Cancun for like $22 a night. And again, the weeks program is amazing. Marketplaces where you'll actually be able to bid on stage, and then timeshare obviously is when you get an opportunity to not just book somebody's timeshare, but also list your own. And then over here, the additional lifestyle activities, we have everything from shore excursions, theme parks, restaurant savings, and more. But the one thing I want to address before we get off this page is that there's not one company out there that can say that they can beat everybody's price on everything, because one, the FTC wouldn't allow it. Again, just they want to make sure that the industry is healthy. But the one that what we have is we've created a net, okay? And this is a catch-all, because anytime you can't find a better price on our site, we want to make sure we create one for you. So we have a price guarantee, 110% of the difference. Okay, so we'll match the price and give you 10% of the difference. Okay. Now, when you look at the differences, though, because the differences between the customers and the actual business partners, when I say membership has its privileges, they both have their privileges, but one is greater than the other one. Okay, and so when you look at the TSAs, our travel savers ambassadors, not travel agents, okay, versus the customers, this is a 5-star all-inclusive vacation to Cancun, right? And if you can look at the price point, is $1,046 for both. You look at the savings, though. The savings is $424 for us, and the savings for our customers are $212. Okay, either way it goes, both parties are happy. And let me tell you something about the customer's platform. The customer's platform, what most people tend to forget is this: it's not just for that one customer that you gave our technology to. That one customer can take up to 4 more people on that same vacation and get their own room for the same discount. That's amazing. And guess what? For our travel partners can take up to or have up to 4 different people on their account that can book for the same rates that they book. So I have my great aunt, okay, I have my brother, I have my uncle, I have my sister, and I have my brother-in-law. Now, my brother-in-law doesn't know what I'm about to replace him to, with the cousin that's about to travel for right now, temporary, because you can change it anytime you want to. But isn't that amazing, where the ones you love can pay a great price just like you, okay? Now, shift over to the right side of the page where you can see, what happens, though, when that transaction takes place, when that savings takes place. You, as an actual travel savings ambassador who gave that technology to your customer, you see those things that looks like boomerangs. That's what we call our technology, a boomerang website, right? We give it to them for free. And when they use it, and that you see that they use it, they got $212 in savings, that boomerang came back like it's designed to do. But it came back with income. It came back with a bonus for the person that gave it out. $106 bonus. That's 50% of what they save. And so do the math, ladies and gentlemen. You have a lot of people out there who are going to be traveling. Okay, you just saw those regions that I mentioned, and all the billions of dollars in revenue that they generate on a daily basis. How much of that do you want? Okay, and so looking at the customer acquisition model, this is what I appreciate, and this is why a lot of people around the world appreciate this company, have joined us in this mission, up to the tune of about 50,000 people globally in 186 countries. Now, you can actually build a solid income, ladies and gentlemen, a really good solid lifestyle, and create an exit strategy off your job, or even off of our business if you wanted to, just with this alone. Okay, you can build up a multiple 5, 6, or even a 7-figure income just by building a customer base without recruiting one person. So let's just start with the simple thing, something that everybody can do. Okay, everybody can get 10 customers. We all know 10 people who want to travel better, for less. We all know a business owner who may send his salespeople out, for sales jobs, and they may go to different cities and different states or what have you, or even out of the country to do sales. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter. Whoever you give that technology to, okay, what's going to happen is, on average, they save $600 a year. And since we pay you, ladies and gentlemen, on 50% of that, that's $6,000 total, translates to $3,000 in income. Okay. Now, when you look at let's just say 100 people, 100 customers are receiving your technology, right? Now, instead of 6,000 in savings, it's 60,000 in savings. And instead of 3,000 in bonuses, it's actually 30,000 in bonuses. I want to share with you this. We have, when I say, man, hundreds of people, maybe even thousands of people right now that actually have over 100 customers in this company. It's ridiculous. Okay, and we did an event in Houston at the end of last month, and we called it our Accelerate event. And that one recognition of people who had more than 100 customers, it took about 25 minutes for everybody in the stadium to walk around it. Okay, and so those people, those 100 customers, when those customers start to travel, what will have taken place is this: they will have created an asset that will pay them on an average of $30,000 per year. They've done something in less than a year that most people who will have a job for 40 years won't be able to do when they retire. Because when you retire from a job, you retire on 40% of what you already can't live off of, because most people are living check to check. So for a person who's joining our company and looking at the future and saying, hey, look, this is time for me to go ahead and take responsibility for creating my own stimulus plan or my own bailout package, this is what you do, okay? So now the next thing here is people who want to build a team. Okay, this is the part of the network marketing arm that some people get extremely excited about, like myself. Right now, if you build a team of 50 people, something extremely simple, you help 5 people, come on board, and they help 10 people come on board. Well, that's 50 people on your team. Okay, now you help all of them get the simple 10. Okay, that's 500 customers in your organization. Okay, now those 500 customers in your organization are going to produce you $58 a day. Okay, on average, $1,700 a month. $20,000 per year. Now, I have to ask you this question. If you were in a situation, hypothetically speaking, that, this pandemic happened a year ago, right? And you already had your customers and your team and everything, and $20,000 was sitting in your bank account per year, and you lost $40,000 a year. Would you be as fearful as everybody else? Would you be panicking as panicked as everybody else? No. That's why you prepare now. Because the one thing I can tell you is this wasn't the first recession, this wasn't the first pandemic, and it won't be the last. Something will happen again. That's history tells you that it's going to happen, but you should learn from the past. Okay. Now, same time, we have people in our organization, ladies and gentlemen, who have over 1,000 people. There's a lady by the name of Shirley Xavier who has 1,600 as we speak. Okay. You have people who also have 1,000, like Tanya Lawrence. Lee Williams, Rick Carina from Australia has 1,000. There are a lot of people who are now touching that 1,000 customer mark right now. Okay, and I can just tell you, if they can do it, so can you. Right? I know Mrs. Renee Young has over 1,000, and she was the first person to go out there and have 100 to 200, if I'm not mistaken, out there rocking and rolling. So again, let these people who have these customers show you how simple it is. Now, one of the fastest growing segments of travel, obviously, is the rideshare industry. We are all, aware of that. And we've all told ourselves at some point in time, at what point in time did I feel like it was okay to get in the car with a stranger, because that's what you were taught as a kid. But I can tell you right now, everybody's doing it. Okay. Somebody made it socially acceptable. Somebody jumped in the car and said, I made it to my destination on time. And all of a sudden, we actually have an idea that we can add to our actual crib that people can now take full advantage of once this thing is over with. When you look at the numbers are staggering. Rideshare industry size, ladies and gentlemen, $24.4 billion, right? And that the transportation industry is up to $2 trillion. And when this is over with, people want to go back to work and they can't find a job. The one thing they can do is rideshare, because they all will have cars. And so for people who are in a company who are already recruiting customers, like Manuel Davis over on the East Coast, Manuel Davis has over 200 customers right now. Rick Carina in Australia has over 200 customers right now. Amy and Joe Rogan over in Orlando, they have over 100 customers, drivers right now. I'm sorry, not customers, drivers. Okay? These guys are recruiting drivers right now. They're opening up their own fleet, if you will. And when I say own fleet, let me show you, how that transitions in payout, because we get paid 3 different ways, in this company when it comes to our rideshare program. In companies like Uber and Lyft, you get paid once, and I appreciate what they've done for us, because again, they're the ones who created the template on how to go out there and make a fortune, in this industry. But with Mr. Bugs' vision, he evolved it. He said, hey, look, this is not an employee environment. This is a independent contractor. This is an entrepreneur's environment. And we want people to be able to get paid in more than just one way. So, but when you look at the first way, just by driving, and look at the differences in commissions, okay, percentages. With Uber, you get paid 40 to 50% per ride, right? With us, it's 70 to 75%. Okay, 70%, out the gate every month, resets. And anytime you go into a place where you're over 50 rides in that 1 month, you move up to 75% then. Now, when you look at the recruiting drivers, this is where it's really cool, because I think last time I checked, Uber was paying you $25 a referral fee for referring drivers over. Well, again, that's just genius on their part, because they don't have to pay them on every ride that those drivers take. Well, we're willing to. See, when you look at, again, a person like Rick Carina in Australia, who has 200 drivers already, he's already recruited. Every time those drivers take a ride, guess what he's going to get? He's going to get a commission. He's going to get a bonus. He's going to get paid. And that's the thing that you want to do. This is how you work your way out of driving. Okay. This is how, when a person says, you know what, I own a limousine service and they only have one car, right? And they're the only driver. Well, when they make enough money, they buy enough cars and create a fleet. And then they work their way out of a job. And then they're sitting in the office making sure the whole operation runs smoothly. Well, you already start off like that here. Okay. You build your fleet without having to own the company. Okay. Without having to actually have the technology and the overhead. Okay. Also, you have, the third way we get paid, and when it comes to rideshare, is by you recruiting. So it doesn't matter whether you're a driver or just a person who's a partner of ours. Anytime you recruit a passenger and that person takes a ride with any of our drivers, regardless of who the driver is, you're going to receive a commission. And this is how this looks. This is how it breaks down. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do this from a $100 fare breakdown, even though we know that the average ride is going to be about $15. Okay. But when you look at, this example here, and we're going from the example of a person already being at 50 rides for the month. Okay. $100, $75 of that will go to that driver, which is 75%. Now, the person who actually recruited the driver, that person is going to get 3%, which is $3 in this example. And then another $3 in this example, the 3% is going to go into what we call our drive share pool. This pool includes people who have actually recruited the driver and people who have developed the driver, and recruited the person who referred the driver, and also the other people who are training those people as well. So on the other side, you have the rider, okay, the passenger. Okay, the person who recruited the passenger, that person is going to get 3%, which is $3 in this example. And then you have $3 to the ride share pool as well, 6 generations or 6 levels above, that person. Okay. Now, when you look at our company, our Boomerang, and you look at, again, that technology that I talked about, this is where it comes back to. When we say, do you boomerang? The answer is yes, I boomerang, because when we throw a boomerang out, we're throwing out goodwill. We're throwing out savings, because that technology is free to you, but it's not free to us. Okay. And when we're throwing out goodwill, we're also throwing out, proper portions of nourishment to children that we feed, every time somebody activates one of those websites. Right. And so up to today, well, let's just say up to January, I don't know the updated number, but it's 4.2 million people, million children have been provided a proper nourishment of actual food based on how many of these websites have been activated. Now, this is something that I'm extremely excited about, because when we first got started in this company, this was a part of our compensation plan initially. And this was supposed to be just a temporary fix until we built it all the way out. Now, we had people who made some amazing income, at that time. And we found that we had more people who built at that time, got paid down in debt. Okay. And so what Mr. Bugs did, he said, you know what, we're going to bring it back. And he brought it back last month in February and announced it at the big event. And people went crazy. And people have been doing some amazing things, again, because I can't make income claims. I can tell you this, though. Over 500% more people have gotten a check, than did last month, based on this new compensation plan enhancement. So I would suggest you get back with the person who invited you out so they can explain a little bit more in depth. But the company wants to make sure that everybody's getting paid as if they're doing the work. Now, this is what we call our dual team bonus. This is where, again, now we want to make sure you have help, okay? Because trying to do it on your own, and let's just say you don't have the experience, like I say, Sir Munoz, so you don't have the experience, like a Johnny Wimbrey, or you don't have the experience like a Jose Luis Rivas or an Emmanuel Bernstein. What happens is, you kind of get left behind. But in this example, ladies and gentlemen, what you do is you go ahead and get you one on the left, one on the right, get your two, okay? And then you'll have your two get their two. And what happens is now everybody's building as a team. Everybody helps everybody's volume as a team. Everybody's actually liquidating and earning income together as a team. And this way that we get paid here will actually pay you up to $250,000 a week, up to $1 million a month. Okay. And at some point in time, it'll be the smallest way you get paid, because our residual income, the unit level part of our compensation plan, is unlimited. But this is what we use to accelerate, how fast you get off your job, to accelerate how fast you make some income so you can create a story and show people that this thing works. But also we have this here to give you comfort, to let you know that you're not building alone, and that your income in this part of our compensation plan is not based solely on your efforts and your influence. Okay. Getting started, here it is. This is the easiest part. Okay. Standby pack. Again, when you look at the standby pack, what this is the activation of your websites. This is now putting you in business, and this is what everybody has to do. Okay. But the thing that I want you to look at right here is the I Decide interactive video, because everything else, that I talked about would be a moot point if you felt like you could not do presentations or recruit. Okay. And this allows you to say, you know what, I can do this, and everybody else that I know can do this. That I Decide interactive presentation is between 10 to 15 minutes long, depending on what the people click on. Now, the thing I love about it is this, it shows you when that person starts watching it, and it shows you when that person finishes. It also gives that person an option to get started as a customer, get started as a business partner, or set an appointment with you to follow up with you. Okay. And so we use that as an organization. Okay. In the very first 30 days of us joining the company, my wife and I put 76 people in business using the I Decide interactive presentation. We didn't do any presentations like what I'm doing right now, because we didn't want people to feel like they had to do what I'm doing right now. Okay. The 76 people that we brought on, guess what they did? They did the same exact thing, and they put 1,804 people in business in that same 30-day period in multiple countries around this. Technology is duplicatable. Okay. Now, when you look at the enhancements, okay, when you look at these packages, that you can actually purchase on top of the standby pack, you have the coach, business, and the first class. Okay. Coach class is $250. Now, this allows you to have access to hotels, flights, and rental cars. This is what you can actually book from your site. Now, this is where you also get paid 25% on the savings that your people incur when they actually book travel. The other thing about this package is this, when I told you guys about the Vibe Rides program, that's a totally different company. It's a totally different enrollment, right? And with that enrollment, it's $49 to come on board, as far as for you to be able to recruit drivers and for you to be able to recruit passengers, okay? But it's $200, on top of that, it's $250 total. So to be a part of our overdrive package, which is what it's called. Well, when you look at the coach class pack, I call it the CCD pack. The CCD means coach class driver pack, because that overdrive package is now grandfathered into this package right now. The business class, it's $500. Okay. And so you get the coach class, you get the coach class offerings as well as the cruises. Okay. Now this is also where they increase the amount of boomerangs that you get from 10 to 25. Okay. They also increase the percentage that you get paid from 25% on savings to 50% on savings. Okay. And again, the overdrive package is also included here. It's also grandfathered here as well. So you're basically getting two businesses for the price of one. And then you have the first class pack, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one where I said on that page with all the great things that I talked about, membership has privileges. Here's the where you find all those privileges for just $1,000, right? You get 50 boomerangs here, along with everything else. You get the 50% on the savings. And when you look at the boomerangs and you talk about the example that I gave you earlier, when it comes to saving $300, I'm sorry, earning $300 on $600 savings on average. If there was ever an opportunity for you to buy money, or if that was ever true, this would probably be the closest, the closest example of it. Because when you look at 50 boomerangs multiplied by $300 in actual income per year per boomerang, that's $15,000 per year for $1,000 enrollment. And keep in mind, these enrollments are one time. Okay? And so think about it from that perspective. Look at it, think about this thing seriously, because there are a lot of people out there who really and truly are looking for something. And this is an opportunity for you because of our It Takes Two program to get a person in. And if they're coachable, teachable, and trainable, that are willing to follow a simple set of instructions without deviating from the plan, they can really put themselves in a place where they can build a business bridge, right? They can put themselves where they can get some extra income coming in, or even eclipse the income that they are actually earning right now by the time they're ready to go back to work. So with that, I really do appreciate you guys spending your time and investing your time with me today. Again, I hope you guys take some from it. Please go ahead and put in the comments, names, of your prospects so they can see this. People who you're thinking about who can use this program, go ahead and tag their name in this as well so they can watch it and they can see it. And you don't know who you can help, but I can tell you right now, this industry has helped me. The owner of this company is basically put us in a really good position where we're not affected like everybody else, entity wise. And that, the leadership that we're getting right now, he's teaching us more than just network marketing and business. He's teaching us finances. He's teaching us, how to be great pillars of the community. He's teaching us a lot. And so again, becoming extremely wealthy is great financially, but becoming the person who creates that income is more special, because that's something that they can't take away from you. That's why right now, going through this situation, I don't have the fears. I'm empowered, and I'm excited because I get a chance to do for the people who are coming on board what Mr. Bugs and Mr. Haynes did for me. So see you guys at the top, at the bank. See you guys on the beach, and definitely on the beach of the world. Take care. Bye-bye.